obviously, many critics towards the idea of euthanasia bring up the idea and the concept of there being too much of a slippery slope towards this idea to even start on. Could you shed some light on that situation
Sure,
and kind of
and
explain that?
And it's an important concern. You know, in the lifetime of people that we can go talk to, they have fought in World War II, and particularly when the Nazis euthanized is almost too kind of a word, exterminated millions and millions of people. And that was involuntary euthanasia, that meaning that the people who were being killed did not want to be killed. And that is the least defendable type of euthanasia. And it's, you even call it euthanasia, murder is really perhaps a more accurate term of it. But that fear on one hand is what keeps us from moving in that direction, because as you said, there's a slippery slope that people feel like once we step there, then we'll continue moving towards that. Virtually every significant medical advance has been met with that slippery slope argument. In vitro fertilization, you know, if we do the vitro fertilization, that's going to devalue childbirth. And there's all kinds of examples of that. I think that we can make gradual steps to be more human towards people who are having pain and who are suffering. And pain and suffering are different. Let me just, if you don't mind, just
Sure.
kind of go into that. Pain is the physical sensation of hurt, when the nerve endings and whatever. Suffering, it can actually be bigger than that. Suffering isn't just more intense pain, but it's also the sense of I'm losing myself as a person. I'm losing what I value. I'm losing my connection to the world. In that way, a person may not even have any physical pain, but they could be suffering. Well, and when you put those together, pain and suffering, and we just have to admit that sometimes situations are so big that we can't change them. We learn that as children. Humpty Dumpty sometimes can't be put back together. We can't fix it. We can't stop it. The situations are bigger than the human capacity to solve. And that's not so bad, except when pain and suffering. And when people are in a bed twisting and turning because they are in so much agony, I mean, just wrenching pain. Do we fear what's at the end of this slippery slope and let that human being experience that? I hope not. I wouldn't want that for myself. And I've not talked to anybody who really does. Globally, they may not want it, but when it comes down to what they want, nobody wants to spend their last weeks in just horrible, irretractable pain. So I think we have to be wise about the steps that we take. I think we have to be measured. I think there have to be checks and balances and safeguards. I don't think we just say, okay, euthanasia is okay, and just go for it. I think it's got to be carefully thought out. And I think there are ways that certain societies, the Netherlands and others have worked through some of these issues. Some of our own states have put certain safeguards. And oftentimes what we find is that when a country or state passes euthanasia laws where a physician can prescribe a lethal dose of medications, people they get the prescription filled, but they don't take them. They're comforted, their suffering is lessened because they know they have some control. But if it gets so terrible, they could do something about it. And that in itself is a measure of relief for them. So back to the original question. I know I've wandered a little bit for this. I think we have to be sensible about it. And we can't just focus on what's at the bottom of the slippery slope. We have to have that in conversation and tension with the human predicament of suffering. Just as the principles and principalism are in tension, involuntary euthanasia is at one end of the spectrum and human suffering at the other, and we have to keep those in balance and figure out a way to keep from going there. But by keeping from going there, we don't want to abandon the suffering person. We still have to care for them. And I'm deeply committed to that and deeply troubled by people who would say, we're sorry, I'm sorry you're in pain, but we can't do anything about it, when actually we can.
Certainly a tender topic, but I personally want to do everything I can to help those people in that suffering and agony.
Yeah.